So in this video, I'm going to show how I make my sourdough squalls. So the recipe is using a starter. There's no yeast in this recipe, and I'll show you how I do it. So first of all, I fed my starter. So we will let this double or triple, and then we'll put it in the mix. So for this recipe, I will add 400 grams of milk, which is very warm. I have used the mixer before, that's why it's got a bit of mix on it still. I'll put 4 large eggs, 160 grams of sugar and 16 grams of salt, and 200 grams of active sourdough starter, which I've already used in the previous mix today. This isn't complete, it's peaked a while ago, about an hour, but it's fine. It scrolls. We can get away with using starter that's a bit more mature. And we'll mix that in on a slow speed for about a minute. And you might want to break it down a little bit if you have to. And once that's broken down, I will add 1 kilo of flour, which I have here. This is 800 grams of bread flour and 200 grams of all-purpose flour. The all-purpose flour will just give it a little bit more softness that we want. And we'll put this on low and mix that in. And we're going to leave the final ingredient to the very end. I'm putting that on to speed 2. Once this comes together, then we'll add the butter. And once we get to this stage where it's picking up, we'll just scrape it down. Like so. We start adding a block one at a time. Make sure it's soft. And this is 180 grams. Now you want to put this in slowly, because if you put in too fast, it will be like oiling in the bowl, and it will be too slippery and the dough will just slide around. So you want it to incorporate as much as you can. Stick it in there if you have to. Just like the mix. And once you see just a little bit of the butter, it doesn't have to be completely incorporated, but once you see it starting to incorporate a bit more, then you can start adding more. I'm about halfway through. Use your hands if you have to. Push it in. I might push one more into the corner here. Now this recipe is so good because it's all milk, butter. The only water in the mix is in the starter. So we've got a lot of good fats in here. One more in here. Everyone loves this recipe. All my friends and family, when I make this recipe, they love it. And you can top it with whatever you want, but when we get to that stage, I'll show you. All right, so we're gonna put this up. I'm gonna put this up to speed 6 on my mixer until I get a window pane. You can tell by when it's picking up on the mixer. Might need to help it a bit by scraping it underneath. Now you'll notice it's starting to pick up more on the hook. You want to wait until it's completely picked up. But if you're going over 8 minutes, then stop it. If you've still got a few minutes to spare, just keep pushing it. Scrape it down as much as you can. Starting to pick it up now. You'll notice it's bit by bit, you're getting less and less on the bottom. Just keep going. Unlike the retard, when we do sourdough, it doesn't matter if you kind of mix a bit longer, because you're not going for open crumb height or anything like that. It's getting there. It's almost picking it up from the bottom. Once it starts to clean the bowl for you, that's when you know it's finished. So let's just give it one more little help and just get any bit off the edge that hasn't been picked up. Now you'll notice it's not sticking to the bottom much. It's starting to pick up more and more. Once that starts hanging off the hook is the thing in the back here, you know it's finished. And yeah, look, you see that? It's not no longer on the bottom. Just wiggle it. That's nice. So we've got a window pane. It's got gluten strength. That's my finger going through, but yeah. Just grab another piece, just wiggle it, you see? Nice. All right, I want to pull this out and put it into a tub. It should be easy enough. Because it's mixed, you should be able to just get it out in one piece, like that. So that will just go in the tub like so. And that's it. The rest should just come out. So I'll put this in my tub that's oiled, and I'll just mold it into a ball. Nice and smooth. It's got real nice strength. We don't need to do any stretch and folds with this mix. We are just going to put it in a nice warm spot, because my garage is literally on 14. So I've got my prover set to 27. So I will put this in here for about 4 hours and just check. I want this to get to at least 50% in size. I've got another mix in there at the moment, doing another bulk ferment. I'll come back in a few hours and we'll see how that looks. So it's been about 2 hours, and I pull it out. I have a sourdough one in there at the moment too. And let's have a look at this. So it's holding its shape really good. So we don't need to do any stretch and fold. It's got enough strength. What I'm going to do is just coil fold it. And yeah, I want it to grow some more. So I need at least 50% for now before I put it in the fridge. Okay, so it's been about 4 hours, and let's just have a look. Yeah, it's coming along nicely. So I'm going to put this in the fridge overnight. The fridge is set to 4 degrees. And I'll just put that. I'll put that in there, and then tomorrow morning we'll pull it out, and I'll show you how I shape my scrolls. And this here is some pizza that I'm making. I'll just show you guys. And I've got 6 in there. And these will be large pizzas that I'm doing for my family tomorrow. And then the next day, I'll pull it out the fridge and let it get to room temperature for a few hours. All right, so the dough's been proven for a few hours. It's got to room temperature. First, we're gonna do the filling. So we got the brown sugar, butter, cinnamon. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the cinnamon to the brown sugar, and we'll just mix that in just to help it a bit. So I'm gonna throw that in the bowl with the butter. And this is just to fill the scrolls. With the paddle attachment, we're just going to mix it till it's combined. We don't really need to overmix this. We just want to make a nice paste. And we will just mix that until it's combined. And about halfway through, Just scrape down the sides. It may feel a bit thick, but that's how we want it. We don't want it to leak from the scrolls when we're baking. Like so. So we're just gonna keep mixing it together. And that's it. Now we have a nice consistency, which we'll use later in the scroll. So we get the last bit out the bowl. And if you feel like it hasn't mixed in completely, just mix inside like so. And that's the paste. Now we're gonna roll out the scrolls and put this inside. So now we've got the dough out. The dough's still a bit firm, which is great. We're gonna roll it out into a nice square. Now you can go at whatever size you want. This recipe can do 24 scrolls, but you can do 16 or 20 if you want. Now, first of all, just get some flour underneath. Just get it into the shape you want, like a rectangle. This is gonna prove for a second time in the prover at 25 degrees. And we're gonna roll this out into a nice square. I'm just gonna put more flour underneath. I've got the length that I want. Now I want to push it up more because you want more like swirls inside the cinnamon scroll. Like so. That's about it. Square it up a bit if you have to. Now we're going to put the paste on top. You just want to put a bit there. Put in parts. I do mine a bit thicker than usual, but I like it that way. If it's too soft, it will leak. Just go over. That's about it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I did use the rolling pin just to squash some of it. Use whatever you have to. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold the top over, and then we're just going to pull and stretch, pull and stretch. Like so. That's it, it's nice. Put some silicone paper in a tin. My tin is a tin that fits almost perfectly into my oven. So this is the tin that I will use. What I usually do is I'll go half, then I'll find half, go half again, another half, go through that half. That should give you equal sizes. I'll just go. So, and what do we get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we've got 15, which I would do 3 by 5. These are pretty big scrolls. Now, if you want to go more, you can make them a bit smaller, but I like to go a bit bigger and just squash them into circle. Okay, what we're going to do is I'm going to put these in my homemade prover on 25 degrees for about an hour or so, maybe 2 hours, and then we'll bake them off. So we're making some sourdough pizza and I'm gonna put them in the oven. Scrolls are still proven up here. And let me just put them on. Got the oven on 300 degrees. So this is gonna hit hard. Put that in. So I'm gonna have to drop this oven temperature really fast because you don't want the scrolls, if you're baking at 300, they're gonna be about 200. I'll use my mat still. There we go. And I'll just add a bit of steam, get a bit more height. That's about 15 minutes, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. And the scrolls are going good. They're proven up. So we'll be eating those later. So we're gonna pour these out. And I'm gonna turn this oven off because I need that temperature to drop for my scrolls. Otherwise it's gonna burn. And that's the pizza. So after a few hours, and I'm gonna put these in the oven. Now I spaced mine out because I want them to be separated. But yeah, I'm gonna put this in the oven for 180 degrees. And what I do is the top element is on 180 and the bottom is on 190. And I'll put a wire here so that this isn't sitting directly on the stone. And I'll just stick this in here for 15 minutes. And I'll also add some steam, a little bit on the top. Then after 15 minutes, let's have a look. Looking really good. Now we're going to put the temperature back up to 200 and bake it for another 10 to 15 minutes until they get a nice golden color. So it's been about 30 minutes in total. And they got a nice brown look. And that's how they look. They've got a little bit of leakage, but it's always going to happen. We're going to let these cool down and then we will decorate them. Now while these are cooling down, I'm going to make the cream cheese filling. Is 200 grams of cream cheese, which you can see there, 200 grams of icing sugar, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 100 grams of softened butter. And we're just going to mix that on slow until it's combined. That's it. We don't want to over mix this. Just until it's combined. If you need to add a little splash of milk, you can. Maybe go a little bit higher. Then when you get a nice smooth consistency, put it in a bowl. I'm gonna do half with the cream cheese and half with Biscoff. So now I've got my cream cheese in the bag and the Biscoff in the bag. And I'll show you how I do them. I've got 2 ways of doing it. I've got the zigzaggy way, which I'll do like this. I'll also put the blob on and go over at the end with a spatula. Like so. And then we've got the Biscoff. And the best way for Biscoff, I find, is the zigzaggy way. And I'll just go over these ones, just spread them out a bit with the spatula. And that's it. That's how I make my sourdough scrolls. Thank you for watching the video.